Hi there, thanks for joining me today. I'm Gabriel Wigington. I want to share with you my Elevated Wellness Business sales presentation. So why did I choose Building Health Back as a part of my slogan? Because if we're building health back to something, then we look at earlier times in our history or in our life that it used to be at a certain place, that it's not anymore. So it reminds me of one of my favorite leadership quotes that applies to behavioral health. When we let the wrong things go, we let the wrong things grow in our lives. So let's build it back from scratch, completely customized, one puzzle piece at a time, since I look at health like it's a ginormous jigsaw puzzle that we have to piece back together. Okay, creating cohesive communities is my big vision of Elevated Wellness. We do this through educational courses in schools, all the way up the age groups, including local community colleges and universities, such as Richland and Brookhaven near me, and SMU and University of Texas, Dallas, where I've been told by someone that you can pitch educational course ideas. Recreational and community centers as well. I have a 6-week course that I may be delivering at some point to a local rec center and may lead a small group at a church. So these are other opportunities, including radio station advertising. There's a ministry/radio station called Way FM here in Dallas, where I live, where they have volunteers at local events, who I've met some of these people, and I hope to partner with this station at some point, since they're all about community as well, and food drives. Next, on a food purchase, a grocery is a big part of where the magic begins in building health. I think nutritionists need to work with food production companies, especially those marketing health products, on strategic ingredient selection and food product formulation, such as Benito's chips and crackers and other baked goods, where we can do what I call a simple swap in avocado oil, for example, in place of sunflower or safflower, which will lead to a clinical benefit of cardiovascular disease risk reduction. Next, food prep. Chefs and culinary professionals aligning with nutritionists on culinary nutrition classes in the local community, along with at-home videos and cookbooks. Sur La Table is a local place here in Dallas where this is possible. Fast food and restaurants. Don't know if it's possible, but why not try, right? Upgrade the food quality of all foods in a cost-effective way and market my medicinal meals to these chain restaurant and fast food companies. So the truth is if you want to make a big dent and turn the tide in American health, this area, which represents eating out in the public, is paramount to make an impact in. Why cohesive communities? Because stress is the number one common link in most chronic conditions prevalent in America today. The American Psychological Association put out a study where nearly half of adults reported higher stress just in the last 5 years. And 39% of adults admit to unhealthy eating habits due to stress. So I like to educate on the food stress behavior link, which I became keenly aware of in certain chaotic restaurant environments. Everybody say behavior. Just 1/3 of Americans satisfied with their current exercise physical activity level, despite being very aware of how important it is to be active. So again, there's a discrepancy between knowing and doing. National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health, 1/4 of employees view occupation and specifically workload as the number one primary cause of life stress today. 3/4 of employees believe on-the-job stress is significantly greater than it was a generation prior. So again, I don't feel enough health professionals bring up what I would call occupational obligations, and starting with the assessment process and assessment forms, it must be talked about to each client or patient. My behavioral medicine philosophy as a building health model, where I look at it like whole food plus strategic supplementation, since sometimes supplements in our modern fast pace of life are beneficial to most people. Exercise and stress slowing best practices as a system for life with a focus of simple, doable change. Or doable while detailed. So focus on big picture, making change doable, and then you get more detailed and customized for each client. Also getting the client focused on emotional enjoyment of meals, shifting away from a deprivation mindset that I noticed was all too common. Habit-based coaching approach, where change psychology is a part of that. I call it a what matters most methodology to fit seamlessly into the very fabric of our lives. And a functional medicine focus, where functional fitness focused on quality movement, plus the clinical functional medicine lab analysis, where we assess and address things that make us human, more alike than different. And finally, a core belief system that I feel adults in this country are not shown that we can reverse disease by building health best practices. Next, my coaching programs. My bread and butter program is the 3-in-1 health coaching, food, movement, and stress coping. Look at it like a smart way to deliver these practices to people so you can reach people who need the help. And so one nutritional daily practice every 2 weeks based on a greatest limiting factor assessment, stress slowing activities, which is where mind-body medicine comes into the picture from my Kaplan bachelor program that was very holistic. Functional strength exercise program design through my National Academy of Sports Medicine template. And then food stress coping behavior lessons, a brief, concise 1 to 2 page lesson in a strategic order delivered over the course of a calendar year. Food planning, purchase prep, medicinal meals, plus a 7-day menu as a part of my 12-month program, and smart snacks, simple swaps, and grocery bill life documents. I'm very excited about my family healing bundle, where social, psychological, and emotional aspects of what lead to our food behavior or choices each day is that analysis is a big part of this. Family dynamic, where you identify a household leader or role model, like a parental figure who would inform the health coach or nutritionist of unresolved conflict, eating addictions, or updates that are needed on the health and medical history of the family members. Month of medicinal meals, 5 meals of 6 types, plus a 7-day menu to jumpstart clients in the right direction. And I'm very excited about monthly group community outreach, where what I call courageous love acts. We go into the local community and we generate solutions for those in need. And so we sow our time, our talents, or what we're good at, our treasure, or our resources to produce a like harvest. So we're making a difference in our community, meeting the needs of people. Group outdoor neighborhood, functional strength exercise. I look at fitness a little differently. Instead of the structural gym scene, I'm a big fan of outdoor exercise, and so sometimes that it can just be difficult to fit exercise in our lives. So if it's close to home, that helps that just a bit. Right where we are. And then my functional strength exercise video library link. Next, the functional lab analysis, where I look at the most common chronic conditions in my assessment document, looking at the big 3, digestive, immune, and nervous, which is where we see a lot of the most common chronic conditions. I refer out for out-of-scope clinical medical health needs with ongoing communication with their physician team, and then botanical medicine with herbs that help to slow stress in addition to whole foods. My FP3 food coaching system. So walking a client through natural food planning, purchase, and prep that those of us who make food each week are going to do anyway. Cater to their inner health status, what doctors look at, their body composition or let's say fat loss goals, and then quality of life, which is where the stress factor comes into play. Asking about staple foods, food preferences, food culture, and then what tastes, flavors, and aromas do they naturally gravitate towards. My Get Well Grocery Guide for food purchase. Upgrade food quality is the system for life, showing how people can enjoy all the food groups as a way of life, big picture. And so grocery education is not done in enough settings, and cost effective has been a primary emphasis for me as I invested many hours over many years mapping out my own grocery system for how I do food. And so this is very, very important. Cost effective at the grocery store. And then we go into food prep, pantry, fridge, and freezer assessment. I call it kitchen cleanup, which can be in-home or camera photos emailed. Focus on foods to cut out and then foods to add in. Sometimes there's just things we need to cut out of our lives that can be detrimental to our health and quality of life. So also show my personal meal rotation strategies I've developed over the past decade to remain healthy, strong, and lean with ease. Note I've remained about 13% body fat with ease over the past 15 years while working in high stress, chaotic conditions. If you know anyone or have a loved one who's ever worked in the restaurant industry, you know how challenging that can be. My significant other sign up, I created this as a discount to encourage couples who do life together and live together to provide that key social support that's essential as a part of any health journey. Common red flags and what gets in the way of the health, body, and life they say they desire. And I feel as health professionals and nutritionists as a whole, we need to make a mental shift instead of just focusing on the what of change or the perfect protocol to why behind behavior and how of change or how change works best, and then what gets in the way. Since nowadays, I feel people need help navigating around their lives. Youth sport performance, focus on functional movement, injury prevention, quality movement patterns where biomechanics, sport medicine, athletic training principles come into play, and homemade sport recovery beverages where natural electrolyte sources and also liquid event nutrition, such as football, baseball, or marathon events, before, during, and after. And wound healing tips, injury prevention with examples of cryotherapy and anti-inflammatory herbs such as turmeric and ginger in place of NSAIDs, since drug-free is the way to be. Sport-specific exercises like the TRX one-arm power pull for rotational power and rotator cuff muscles in baseball. And then sports psychology leadership. Olympic mental fitness is something that was covered in my mind-body medicine Kaplan Bachelor program. And so core values-based leadership group mentorship coaching, where we sit down and counsel on the mental aspect of performance for local youth sport teams. Next, medicinal meal prep. Questionnaire I created to assess food preferences, allergies, sensitivities, and this is very popular with those who, let's say, they don't have time to make healthy meals, such as moms with many kids to take care of. Medicinal meals, 6 types. Super shakes are popular for those who run out the door early in the morning for school or work, also around athletic events. Breakfast bowls were ancient grains. They are digested a bit better than conventional grains. And it's been really great to start my day in a time-efficient way, where amaranth, quinoa, and buckwheat are a few of the options. Bulk lunches, I feel, are a game changer for the common everyday worker and kids going to school, since I found that most people don't eat a nutritious lunch, and it can really create that midday lull, or the bulk lunches can help get past that so we finish our day strong. Protein-powered snacks, sometimes snacks are just very beneficial. And then 5-minute 1 p.m. medicinal meals I created thinking like dinner time, which when I would come home physically depleted from certain workplaces, I really valued being able to recover and be sharp mentally the next day. Fat melting decadent desserts. My all-time favorite as a staple is coconut flour brownies. Why should we forego the sweets we love just because we want to live well? I chose to bring my services to the community, focus on chronic conditions and adolescent athletes as two primary populations. Adolescent athletes, sports teams, local rec city leagues such as the YMCA and PSA, and then the older adults where you see more of the neurological disorders, focus on brain function such as Alzheimer's. Fat loss is always a big market, and then inner health. When we address inner health first, even with non-clinical needs, such as people who begin a new fitness program, that fat loss gets much easier. Great dreams do demand great teams, as my favorite leadership expert John Maxwell once said. This is a snapshot of the types of expertise I would love to have a part of my holistic team. Child sport clinical psychologist, biblical counselor, a culinary nutrition expert or chef, food photographer to create cookbooks, a physical therapist, biomechanist, or a sport team physician, such as Tio Soria, who is the doctor who helped the Dallas Mavericks the year they won the championship stay recovered. Yoga, Ayurveda, Chinese medicine, and herbalist, gastroenterologist, neurologist, web developer, computer programmer, radio broadcaster to advertise, an expert in change process, and then chiropractor, massage, and acupuncture education. If we're going to go up to another level, we need to grow to another level, right? So BNI is a elite referral group where they have an exclusive non-compete clause for business, or if you're a nutritionist, no other nutritionist can come in and be a member for business networking. Email and video marketing, email newsletter, in-person warm market referrals, always a great way to get clients, and my marketing survey, plus 32 community holistic health talks that I plan to deliver over the next few years. Get well globally. Mass media is a big part of this, reaching a global audience through radio shows, TV broadcasts, cooking shows, food, fitness, medicine magazines, YouTube, and Amazon and Kindle are very big these days. Pitch medicinal meals to restaurant owners, including the large corporate ones that may not be so healthy right now. Variety of food types need to be addressed. Italian, Mexican, American, Chinese, Indian, burger joints, coffee houses, steakhouses, ballparks, sports bars such as Austin Avenue, ice cream parlors, little yogurt shops in the neighborhood, and breakfast places like IHOP, Denny's, and Cracker Barrel. Creative arts, stepping a little bit outside the box. Creative endeavors, I write poetic rhymes from time to time, so I'd like to collaborate with hip-hop artists and musicians with the focus of these rhymes on stress coping and emotional intelligence. Really wanting to take a stand for young people who may not always get to talk about those crucial conversations that need to be had on the sources of stress every day. Cartoonists, comics, cartoons, painters, and artists. We paint a visual picture here for kids on how we systematically do medicine and health. And if I can paint a visual for you, we go from processed food eating out to doctor's office where we get a prescription, we get a drug at a pharmacy, and this lifestyle leads to emotionally reactive behavior, or the food, stress, sleep deprivation, sedentary, chronic pain pendulum. So we're painting a visual here for young kids through art. One of my favorites in the past I made, homemade cherry chocolate with cashews. Who doesn't love chocolate, right? Split pea avocado mint dip. It was delicious with chia buckwheat crackers. And chocolate chip banana nut amaranth porridge. If you're ready for healing, why wait? The truth is you're going to go somewhere from here. You might as well go up. And I'll sign off by saying, when we take moments to assess and address the things which make us human, then our best is still yet to come, and everything goes up from here. Thanks for tuning in. God bless.